ready.
They say they need to ban the podcast equipment and take y'all mics away. And oftentimes when I listen, shit, I agree.
For real talk.
Hey, man, just because we know people don't mean that they know things. A lot of us was in the same classes with some of these folks. That don't mean they were passing these classes.
All the time.
It ain't the world leaving you behind, man. It's your line of thinking. You think the science stopped evolving because you stopped learning, and it don't work that way. I couldn't imagine voting for somebody who thinks identifying with me is identifying with a felon. That's crazy as hell. I'm Mr. Spann, and I'm approving these messages. This is the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann, and this is episode number 76 of the show, man. And we are, yeah, man. It's been a couple weeks since the last time I was on the mic, and actually, this is our second go-round at number 76, because for whatever reason, I could not get episode 76, published. So, you know, we had that sort of shit going on. Just not even so much drama, just right. So yeah, but yo, we doing this again here tonight, man. Shout out to everybody who reached out to your boy, man, because I did celebrate my 45th birthday recently. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Your man Spann is 45 years old now, man. And you know, as we get older and stuff like that, and I know for me, you know, like I may have said this to you guys before, man. I just started thinking about shit. I'm on the other side. This is truly middle age, man. Like, you know, I'm closer to 50 than I am to 30 now. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I just always think about that. I'm always thinking about, like, you know, I've lived a life longer than my mother did, you know, and I'm close to living a life around the same time that my father did. And so I'm always, for whatever reason, man, like with everything going on in the world, I started thinking about those sorts of things, man. What, how, when I do, you know, perish from the earth, like what kind of legacy will I leave here, you know, when I do pass on, man. And I know this seems morbid and weird and stuff like that, but like, yo, man, it's a reality that we all got to come to grips with. And the older I get, the more that I think about it, right? So it's like, now it's time for me to go and get those colon exams, man. It's time to go get that fucking prostate exam, man. Just can't say I'm looking forward to that shit. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. It ain't got nothing to do with being homophobic or nothing like that. I just don't want nobody playing with my booty, man. I just don't. I've never liked it. Even when my wife would, like, you know, kind of pinch me on the ass. I'm like, hey, girl, what you doing? You know, like, it's just something, you know, nah, man, we ain't that kind of party, right? But no, man, it's those things that you got to get done, man. And like, especially if you want to have a long and fruitful life, man, real talk. So, but it's time for me to let y'all know how to get in touch with your boy here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. So you can do that by hitting up our hotline at area code 313-288-0485. There's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here and responded to here live on the show. You can also hit me up on Bluesky and Threads. My name on Bluesky is mrspann.bsky.social. And on Threads is Mr._Spann. And on Instagram, I'm sorry, Threads and Instagram is Mr._Spann. Follow me all three places. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And leave us comments on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel. Leave us a thumbs up. You know, all of that stuff helps us grow the channel and also helps other people find the channel because they now trying to figure out, hey, what's going on over there, right? Same thing with our 5-star reviews on iTunes and or Spotify. Leave us a 5-star review there. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you nothing. And you know, yeah, I done forgot my whole spiel. I can't keep taking these weeks off, man. It's fucking with your boy. But yeah, man, it doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. But also, if you'd like to give us some money, right? You know, you can donate to the show via Patreon. But also, we would like for you to get something back in return. So we do have a store. So if you do want to give us some money, man, we have a store. Go ahead, cop yourself some merch. We have t-shirts, we got hoodies, we've got coffee mugs, and yeah, we even got hats now.
Yo, we got some hats now, motherfuckers.
Yeah, man. So we would appreciate you guys supporting us in that way. And it's again another way for you guys to put on for us. And we really appreciate you guys for doing that, because you don't have to. And we really do appreciate you guys for doing so, though. Real talk. But other than that, man, I guess we got a lot of stuff to get into, man, because it's been a couple weeks. And one of the things I was thinking about while I was away from the mic, man, is like I had to remind myself of something that I said earlier this year in regards to Donald Trump. And that was, didn't want that man dominating the entire fucking space of what it is we talked about, that we talk about here on this show, just the important things and how they affect us in a very real way. And to some degree, I felt myself kind of falling into being reactionary to all of the things that Donald Trump had been doing. And to the point where I felt like some of the shows may have been dominated by discussion about Donald Trump. Now, that's not to say that we won't be talking about some of this bullshit Trump's got going on recently, because there are some things that are coming down the pike that will affect us in a very real way. But I had to do some self-examination for me, where I was like, hey man, like I don't want to make this a Trump reactionary channel. I just don't want to do that. I don't want this to be that. And so there's so many other things going on in the world, man. I kind of wanted to speak to some of these other things going on in the world, have these discussions, have some fun. Don't like, it's a bad feeling when you get off of the mic and you're just like, right? And I know if I feel like that when I get off of the mic, I know if y'all listening to me, y'all like, here this nigga go again, bro, right? So no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We gotta mix this shit up, man. We gotta mix this shit up, man. Real talk. But yeah, so let's get in just to start things off. To start things off, we're gonna talk about the NBA, man. We're gonna talk about the NBA. And one of the things about the NBA, first thing first, congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder. That was the wrong one. I'm sorry. Yeah, man. The Oklahoma City Thunder won their very first NBA championship in franchise history. I believe, I don't know how that rule works, though, because they were the Seattle Supersonics before they moved to Oklahoma City. So I know Seattle had won at least one championship, I believe. So I'm not sure if they get to claim ownership over that too, or whether or not the Seattle history stays in Seattle. I'm not sure. But in the time that they've been in Oklahoma City, this is their first NBA championship. They weren't able to do it when they had people like Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, James Harden, when those guys were young, right? Weren't able to do it, but they were able to do it with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, Jared Williams, and players like that. And so it's been interesting to kind of watch the evolution of the game, in the sense that like we're not seeing too many dynasties forming right now. There's been a different champion all this entire decade. There's been a different champion every year. There hasn't been a back-to-back champion at all, let alone a three-peat. And no one's been even really close to winning a three-peat in the NBA as of late. But one of the things that have been coming up has been the amount of injuries that have been happening to star players, right? So we've had Damian Lillard of the Milwaukee Bucks go down with an Achilles, what I believe was an Achilles injury. Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics, he went down earlier in the playoffs with an Achilles injury, and many people believe that injury had ramifications over who could possibly win the NBA championship. Do the Indiana Pacers get past the Boston Celtics if Jason Tatum is playing? Then you have the Indiana Pacers losing their star player, Tyrese Halliburton, to an Achilles injury in the NBA Finals. And then you have people questioning whether or not he should have even been in the game. And, because he had a calf strain earlier. And many people started tracing back to what happened to Kevin Durant, because he had an Achilles tear that took him out of the game for a year while playing for the Golden State Warriors, when they lost to the Toronto Raptors for the Toronto Raptors' first NBA championship. And so it brought up a discussion about how often these types of injuries are happening, and people are trying to figure out why these types of injuries are happening. And a lot of folks have a lot of different theories, man. You know, you got a lot of old heads. A lot of old heads, man, they ain't really feeling the fact that these kids is out here running around in fucking low top shoes. Because again, they're blaming the Kobe's, right? Because Kobe, towards the end of his career, tore his Achilles also, right? But the interesting thing about Kobe is that Kobe was much later on into his career by the time this injury happened, right? Kobe was like, I want to say he injured his Achilles in his 17th season, something like that, 16th or 17th season, and he was like in his mid 30s. A lot of these dudes are like mid 20s, haven't been in the league 5 or 7, like max 8 years. And they haven't had like the playoff runs that Kobe Bryant had over the course of his career. Like, again, we're talking Kobe had a three-peat. Then later on in his career, he won back-to-back championships, deep playoff runs, went and played in the Olympics. And so now folks are talking about like, well, the NBA needs to shorten the amount of games that they play, to which I'm just like, nah, man, that's some bullshit. Nah, don't do that. Like, it can't be the amount of games. These dudes don't even play fucking 82 games a season anymore. They got to give them incentives on, making sure that they even try to play every game, right? That's what the entire fucking end season tournament is about, to get these dudes to recognize and realize the importance of regular season games, because before they didn't give a shit. So they implemented the end season tournament to get these guys amped to try to play regular season games. And then people were saying, well, they got to get rid of the play-in tournament. It's like, well, the play-in tournament at most maybe adds what, 1, 2 games, I believe. It's not like it's like, I guess, like a best of 3 series between borderline teams who may or may not have been like playoff eligible. So I don't know if those few games are contributing to it. But one NBA legend, Kevin Garnett, seems to have had a bunch to say about this. So we get this story here out of Yahoo Sports. He's blaming it on the guys in the NBA not being in shape. Yeah, he says they are not in shape to play at this pace in the NBA. So let's read here. It says Kevin Garnett blames Achilles injuries on NBA players not being in great shape. They are not in shape to play at this pace in the NBA. Hall of Famer Kevin Garnett commented on the alarming number of Achilles injuries in the NBA this season. 3 superstar players, all eerily wearing the 0 number jersey number, suffered Achilles tears during the 2025 NBA playoffs, including Indiana Pacers guard Tyrese Halliburton, whose injury happened in Game 7 of the 2025 NBA Finals. Overall, 7 players tore their Achilles tendon, the most in a single season in the NBA. According to Garnett, he believes the theory that there is a relation between an Achilles tear and having a calf strain before the Achilles injury, because the 2 body parts are related. We don't think that today's NBA players, they do play at a fast rate, but I don't think that they're in tip-top shape. I think the league is in the type of shape that you need to be in the type of... Wait. I think the league is in the type of shape that you need to be in the type of shape to play at this pace. I think that... Damn it, this is hard to read. I think they think that, and if anybody knows the body, your calves are your brakes. The one thing that supports your calves is your Achilles. So if your calf is the first thing to shut down, you have to think about how things are built. According to myclevelandclinic.com, the Achilles tendon connects to the calf muscle to the heel bone and helps move the feet and ankle. It starts in the middle of the calf and starts down and goes down to the heel. It is the largest and strongest tendon in the human body. Although it can resist large tensile forces, it is not indestructible, especially when players aren't doing too much to strengthen it. I heard the other day some trainers was talking about the lack of calf raises for some of the players to end their workout. Bro, we used to end a workout, especially on leg day, with calf raises. This is how I'm speeding up. This is how I'm stopping. This is my whole wiggle. If your calves ain't there, add on top of whenever I finish, I got to be athletic enough to finish, right? Strengthen your fucking calves. Do the fucking calf raises every day. Now, this is just one theory. This is just one theory on, whether or not it's like the type of shape that these guys are in, right? On top of the types of shoes, like I said, a lot of guys are saying it's the low top shoes that a lot of these dudes are wearing. I'm of the mindset, and I've heard this before, and I'm sure I'm not the first person who said this, but I'm of the mindset that like a lot of these dudes, man, have so many miles on them, based on like, them specializing in the type of sport that they're going to play from very young ages, man. Like when we were kids, and this is why this show is entitled "We the Old Heads," right? When we were kids, man, like we dabbled in a little bit of everything. We wanted to play everything. We wanted to play baseball. We wanted to play football. We wanted to play basketball. We wanted to run track. And like when you're doing all of these different activities, yeah, you're using these muscles and things of that nature, but you're using these muscles in different ways. And some muscle groups may get a rest when you're doing this other sport, as opposed to just focusing on this one type of sport at such an early age. And so when you start looking at the fact that these kids are playing AAU basketball from the time they're like 10 years old, they're playing travel basketball, and they may go to a tournament where they're playing 5 or 6 games over the course of a weekend at 10. And then and that continues over the course of the years where they're growing up, right? And then add on to that they're playing high school basketball, and then some of them may go to college for the 1 year, or they may go to some sort of semi-pro league. They may end up going to the G League. However, a lot of these dudes are accumulating miles on their body, basketball miles on their bodies, that by the time they get to the NBA, they've played the amount of games that maybe a fucking 5-year vet in the NBA would have played, right? And so I'm of the mindset that like this is why we're starting to see these types of injuries so early, is because of the amount of stress they're putting on that tendon earlier on in their careers, right? Now, that's just a theory. Everybody has a theory. I have that theory. Kevin Garnett, he has a theory about the types of workouts they're doing and the style of play. I know a lot of people were talking about the style of play, but when it comes to how you rectify it, that's the part where I think we're all looking for questions, and we're seeking answers, because you hate to see, the top players go down. Like the top players are what draws the eyeballs, right? And when you go to a game, you want to see the best players. That's part of the reason why it's been such a hard thing for me to like kind of watch NBA basketball the last couple of years, man. It's like, man, I don't even know if these niggas gonna play. Right, the guy I want to see he resting tonight. Like, what the fuck, bro? Because my NBA, like your NBA League Pass, shit ain't going down, right? The tickets at the game ain't going down, their salaries aren't going down, but these dudes ain't playing. So, like, that was the other thing. Some of the old head pushback is like, hey man, these dudes ain't even playing a lot of NBA games, and yet they're hurt more than some of the old heads. And then it's like, well, it's a style of play and all this other thing. So then you get the what do you call that? The back and forth, the generational back and forth, between fans and stuff like that. But ultimately, I just hope that they do find a solution to this at some point. And what we probably end up seeing is if a guy has a calf strain, they're gonna sit his ass. Right? He's got it. They don't want, because you would much rather he lose a couple games than to lose a whole fucking season. Right? This is the type of injury where guys are losing whole seasons behind it. Like it takes a year or so to recover from an Achilles tear. So be that as it may, again, congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder for their first championship. You got to feel for guys like Tyrese Halliburton, who was out there balling, man, and then like to pop that thing right there in the game 7, and like when your team had a shot and you couldn't really give them everything you had. I mean, you gave them everything you had, but your team falls short because of the injury. So yeah, man, we got that going on. Another thing we got going on, man. Has Jim Jones, the rapper, been to Guyana? Because I swear for breast milk, man, this nigga has been out here talking mad crazy. Jim Jones actually believes, or at least he's pretending to believe, that he is the reason why folks talk about Nas in 2025.
Oh, yeah. There is powerful niggardry at work here.
Now, this is, despite the fact that Nas is actually out here putting out music, like really good music, late into his career. He's had a really great, like 3-album run lately, man. And the fact that Jim Jones would even bother to put himself in the same category as Nas is laughable in and of itself, right? But he did say something, and it kind of alludes to how we it kind of alludes to how we approach social media, right? Like, and I've talked about this on the show before, man, when it comes to how we navigate on social media and how everything is content and how everything is monetized. Everybody is trying to get paid, right? How many of your friends on Facebook who aren't really social media influencers or anything of that nature? How many of your social media friends how many of your friends on Facebook turn their pages into professional pages, and then suddenly you start seeing lives of them doing absolutely nothing? Don't worry, I'll wait. You watching them like maybe cook some chicken, maybe, or you watching them go live and like, hey man, what's going on, man? What y'all doing? Yeah, we out in the streets, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Just doing what a pimp do. You know what I'm saying? Just checking the scene, man. You know, just out on the block, man. You know what I'm saying? And while I'm out here on the block, man, it just made me think, man. You know, we gotta buy black the block, man. You know, we can't be out here talking about this my block and you don't own shit on the block, man. So you gotta go back and you gotta go buy mama's house, man. You gotta go back and you gotta go buy auntie's house. You know what I'm saying? And how will you do that, man? You gotta get your credit up and now like. And now he done went on this whole rant about buying back the block, and he might have got 2 or 3 likes. You know what I'm saying? But you know that 2 or 3 likes, you know, he might feel like, damn, all right, I done went viral. You know what I'm saying? So now he back at it. He trying to grow this thing, right? He's trying to grow this thing, and what happens is with social media is that you know, the algorithm, because everything is so algorithmically generated now. If you click on one thing, just interact with it passively, the algorithm believes that this is something that you may be interested in. If you watch it for any length of time, the algorithm believes, oh, so you must like this type of shit, and they will send more and more of that stuff your way, despite the fact that you might not have had any sort of interest in it at all. But once it's out in the ether, once it's out in the open, and people are talking about it, and people are sharing it, even if you hate sharing it is still sharing. Hate watching is still watching. So when you do that, even when you're trying to clown somebody, you're helping them get paid, right? And so Jim Jones spoke a little bit to that when you know, when people were talking about, you know, the ridiculousness of him comparing himself to Nas, right? So I got a little video here I want to play for you guys, and let's see exactly what the fuck Jim Jones is actually saying here. So let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on just a second while I do this here. And let's see what Jim Jones is talking about. Let me pause that. And let's see what Jim Jones is talking about. All right. Here. I got to unmute it too. But here we go. Let's see what he's talking about, y'all.
Whatever narrative you want to paint, you still got to listen to me talking to you right now in 2025. What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever.
See, here's what was disingenuous about what the fuck he just said. He said, what I just did for Nas, this had nothing to do with you doing for Nas anything, right? I'm sure Nas didn't need you to speak on his name at all. Nas is doing just fucking fine. Let's make no mistake about that. Nas is doing just fine. The man didn't need Jim Jones to come out and say anything about him in order for him to make any money, to go viral or anything. If Nas comes out and says anything about anything, people gonna listen because it's Nas, not because Jim Jones says something. But this is sort of like the kind of delusion a lot of us get when it comes to social media, man, where we think that our influence is greater than it is, right? Everybody's got, you know, a lot of people, especially like even someone like myself. There's a touch of what we call it? Main character syndrome, where everybody is the hero in their own story and shit. And with social media, it allows you to like kind of portray that story out publicly. You writing your own story publicly, and you get to be the hero. You just forget that we watching this shit, and we don't necessarily, and we get to determine whether or not you a hero to us or not. You know,
ever, he's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Now, has Nas reached out to you?
You did. The last time he was in some shit like this, where people were comparing when him and Jay was beating on him. You heard? You did? Like, that, and I don't want to talk about other people's career, but let's just get to the semantics of it.
Since the whole time?
Nas.
Okay.
No, so he hasn't spoken to Nas. Nas ain't thinking about this nigga, right? He is mostly a one. This has been a one-sided shit, a one-sided thing. While he's saying he's doing something for Nas, he don't know Nas, ain't spoke to Nas, but he's saying he's done some shit for Nas. It's crazy as hell, man. The delusion is out. It's crazy.
I don't know Nas to have a conversation with him. You don't have a conversation, we can have that too and shit like that. You dig? Like I don't really care.
One thing I did see you do.
Yeah, man. So, and the reason why I asked if this nigga ever been in like Guyana was because of course, the real Jim Jones, the reverend that took his people down to Guyana and had them drink the Kool-Aid that killed. Basically, it was a mass suicide event down there in Guyana. You know, the fact that you would name yourself, or even like take that up as maybe his name merely is James Jones or some shit. I don't know. Maybe that's his real name. Is that nigga's real government name? Y'all in the chat, man. Let me know. Is that this nigga's real government though? Because like the only time I ever thought about Jim Jones was like the reverend that killed his own fucking congregation and made them drink some cyanide laced Kool-Aid because he didn't want his shit to get blown up. Right? So yeah, man, like the whole aspect of social media and the parasocial relationships of it and how we consume it, even like me talking about this right now. Yeah, it's contributing to the discussion. However, it's like, man, let's just recognize, nigga, Nas did not need you to make him go viral for anything, man. He just didn't. He didn't. So we got that going on, man. Jim Jones out here wilding. Real talk. Let's see. Another thing. Let's see. Another story we got here. Yo, man, D.L. Hughley went the fuck off on TMZ, man. So, of course, y'all know D.L. Hughley. He was out here. He was campaigning hard for Kamala Harris in 2024, man. He, let me take that down. I don't know why that. I don't know. These motherfuckers in the fireworks. God damn it. I hate this time of year. I do. But, no, man. So D.L. Hughley, he went on TMZ, and for whatever reason, man, he found himself being confronted by one of their reporters or correspondents or whatever, who was a Trump supporter. I believe this guy was also one of the reasons why Van Lathan is no longer at TMZ, because he got into a physical altercation with this particular guy. But D.L. Hughley went the fuck off on TMZ about whether or not Trump is a racist. Nigga! Yeah, man. So let me pull this story up. Let me see. Do I still have it? So I had to change from Pocket, man. Pocket is going away. I had to find a new service to save my stories, and I'm still figuring out how to navigate through this here. So, okay. So yeah, we got video here. I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann, as always. And let's see what the hell D.L. Hughley is going off exactly about. Let's see what they're talking about here.
Name me one person, one competent person on his cabinet that can help him. One. Same time.
D.L., is there anything that Donald Trump could do that you would give him credit for?
Yes, he could have.
So hold on. I want to address that question myself, right? A lot of Trump supporters seem to be of the idea that Donald Trump can do no good, right? That the people that are against him will never give him the benefit of the doubt, will never give him credit for a thing that he did that benefited people, right? And they always present this as, well, what could Donald Trump do? Or you'll see comments in comment sections that'll say, well, Donald Trump could cure cancer and you guys will still be upset about it. And it's like as if they are completely not self-aware at who Donald Trump is and what Donald Trump's policies have done already, right? So when you ask someone, or when you tell someone Donald Trump could cure cancer and you'd still be upset, like, well, why would Donald Trump do that when he's out here canceling funding for cancer research? Why would he do that? Donald Trump never does anything for anybody but his fucking self, right? And it's the lack of self-awareness that I think a lot of Trump supporters just seem to have overall. Like they have fucking Donald Trump colored glasses, these orange colored glasses over their eyes, where they can't seem to wrap their mind around the fact that the people that do not like Donald Trump don't like Donald Trump for very fucking concrete reasons, man.
Went to jail for starting a riot.
Okay, there's the answer. The things that you are saying, with all due respect, they are absolute nonsense. He torpedoed a deal with Iran because he doesn't like Barack Obama. Do you listen to this? Do you hear what you're saying?
He destroyed. Oh, stop it! Stop it! The man, he wouldn't do that. The man who's renaming federal.
Wait, give me the proof. Give me the proof.
Like black people.
Let's talk in facts.
Okay, so let's talk in facts. Like, isn't Donald Trump right now bitching at the fact that Barack Obama has a Nobel Peace Prize and he doesn't? Nigga! Is his son not on Twitter right now calling Donald Trump, or better yet, saying that Barack Obama winning the Nobel Peace Prize and Donald Trump not having one, affirmative action? Nigga! So you want us to believe that Donald Trump wouldn't be petty enough to tear up an Iranian deal that Barack Obama basically kind of steered into existence to kept the Iranians from creating a nuclear weapon, but allowing them to enrich uranium so that they could have some sort of nuclear power for their nation, right? Like, you want us to believe that Donald Trump isn't that petty? This is the lack of self-awareness that a lot of these Trump supporters have, man.
Let's talk in facts. Let's talk in facts.
Why didn't he torpedo the deal? Why was the deal
it's a crap deal. It's a crap deal.
What was crap about it, Mike?
No.
What was crap about it?
Has said
there's not. So a better deal is the one he's doing now.
Yes,
Stop.
they
apologize.
negotiated for 60 days. He said take a deal. They didn't take the deal. Now it seems like we are on the verge of peace. Except the only difference is now their nuclear program is decimated. Come on.
That man torpedoed that deal precisely because he didn't like Barack Obama. Half the stuff he does.
Every president we have had, DL, has said that they cannot have nuclear weapons, including Barack Obama.
A mediocre coward who is a bullshit president, and all of you people enable him. That's all he does is break.
Okay, that much is true. I mean, for those of us who are not fans of the dude who's currently occupying the White House right now, yeah, that's how we see the shit. And I don't think we're being unfair in that assessment.
This hurts your side. It hurts your side, DL, because when something legitimately good happens for the world, you can't admit it. You cannot admit it.
Do you think no, I despise him, but if he did something
right, you despise him. We hear it. I know you do. Everyone hears you.
I despise him as much as he despises black people. I despise him as much
more
as he
nonsense. It's more nonsense.
See, this is another thing, man, when it comes to a lot of, especially the white Trump supporters. Again, and the lack of self-awareness. You can't say that it's nonsense when we have a track record of Donald Trump doing racist things, whether it comes from, him, being sued by the Department of Justice for not renting to black people in his apartments, whether that be him calling for the execution of the Central Park Five, that after they were exonerated, he still refuses to apologize to them, whether that be him renaming Confederate bases, Army bases and renaming them after Confederate soldiers and generals, whether that be taking monies from, or better yet, belittling the Juneteenth holiday by saying that we have too many federal holidays and we're losing billions of dollars. We need to get people back to work. Like, he's giving you time and time again reasons to understand and know that he doesn't really care for black people all that much, if only to use them for his own political gain. So this is why he loves people like Blacks for Trump and Candace Owens and Kanye West and people who would propagate the idea that he cares for them. He would use them only for the vote. He told people this. This is the other part about Donald Trump. He told people this stuff. He says the shit out in front, and people act as though we didn't hear what the fuck we heard. That's the crazy part about all of this.
By the way, Mike.
Let me ask you something. Why rename bases after Confederate generals? Why do it? Why destroy Black history? Why?
Good question, Mike.
Why do it? You know why? Because he's
let him answer, DL.
And let him do it.
If you're going to ask him, you have to let him answer.
Why does he do it?
Give me the question once more, DL. I'm sorry.
Why does he rename?
I have no idea.
Yes, you do, you coward. He's a racist. That's why he does it.
Look, DL, let me tell you, it is such a sign of weakness that you cannot control your emotions.
So again, this is another thing that they do. I don't know why he would rename Army bases after Confederate generals. I'm a plead ignorance on that. But look how emotional you're getting. This is why you guys aren't being taken seriously. Look at how emotional you're getting. It's like, hey, no. But the point of the fact of the matter is, you act as though we don't have reason to be upset. And then you act like that's the thing. I think that's the thing that like really pisses people off, especially some of these Trump supporters. It pisses folks off, man. It pisses folks off. And so D.L. Hughley went off on this dude. It went viral, and we talking about it here. So yeah, that happened. That was in the news the last couple of weeks, man. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh yeah. So let's talk about this here, man. There was a woman in Georgia. I think we talked about this a couple months ago, but there was a woman in Georgia who went brain dead. They found out she was pregnant. She found out she was pregnant. Unfortunately, she was not able to terminate the pregnancy because of the rules and the laws in Georgia that wouldn't allow for her to get an abortion after a heartbeat had been detected for the pregnancy. So I think they said like maybe she might have been a couple weeks, a few weeks more than what they allowed for her to be able to get the abortion. And so I forget exactly whether she had an accident. Something happened to her where she ended up in a hospital and she went brain dead, right? But in Georgia, they kept this woman's body breathing so that she could be an incubator for this baby that, for one, she didn't want, and two, her family didn't want, but not even necessarily to say that her family didn't want. They wanted to be able to grieve their loved one in the ways in which you want to grieve your loved one. The state of Georgia robbed that family of the ability to grieve that family member in the way in which they wanted to, kept that woman's body alive, so to speak, it quote unquote, kept that woman's body alive so that it could incubate a birth where they basically took this embryo, this child, out from a dead woman, right? So let me see. Let me go back here. Where do we get this story from? We get this from, okay, this is clickondetroit.com. Do they have video on this? No, they do not. They got some other video up here. So I'm going to read this story here. Like I said, this comes out of clickondetroit.com. This is the NBC affiliate here in Detroit. It says the baby of a woman in Georgia who was declared brain dead and has been on life support since February was delivered early Friday morning, her mother said. April Newkirk told WXIA TV that 31-year-old Adriana Smith's baby was born prematurely by an emergency cesarean section early Friday. The Atlanta station reported Monday night she was about 6 months into her pregnancy. The baby, named Chance, weighs about 1 pound and 13 ounces and is in the neonatal intensive care unit. He's expected to be okay, Newkirk told the TV station. He's just fighting. We just want prayers for him. Newkirk said her daughter had intense headaches more than 4 months ago and went to Atlanta's Northside Hospital where she received medication and was released. The next morning, her boyfriend woke to her gasping for air and calling 911. Emory University Hospital determined that she had blood clots in her brain and that she was declared brain dead. She was 8 weeks pregnant, according to WXIA. Newkirk said that Smith would be taken off life support Tuesday. The Associated Press called and emailed Emory Tuesday for comment. It is unclear why Emory decided to deliver the baby. The Associated Press has also tried to contact Newkirk. Smith's family said that Emory doctors told them that they were not allowed to remove the devices keeping her breathing because state law bans abortion care after cardiac activity can be detected, generally around 6 weeks into pregnancy. Georgia Republican Attorney General Chris Carr later issued a statement saying that the law did not require medical professionals to keep the woman declared brain dead on life support. Removing life support is not an action with the purpose to terminate a pregnancy, Carr said. Newkirk said Smith loved being a nurse at Emory. She also has a 7-year-old son. Her family celebrated her 31st birthday Sunday with doctors, with several advocacy groups. I'm her mother, Newkirk said. I shouldn't be burying my daughter. My daughter should be burying me. So like, Here's the thing, and this is something that I since this story, came across my radar and when I became aware of it, one of the things that I've always said is that, like, if this is the state of affairs where a woman could be pregnant, and she has a very, let's just say she has the exact same predicament that Adriana Smith was in. It should, if the hospital is telling the family that they are not allowed to take that loved one off of life support despite the family's wishes, then any hospital bill occurrence, any type of billing whatsoever should go to the state. Any type of billing whatsoever, like anything after that determination should go to the state, because now you're saddling this family with medical bills that they wouldn't normally have, because the hospital decided that they couldn't do this because of state policy. And so the state should be required to pay off those hospital bills that they made that family incur while that woman was laying in that hospital, basically being an incubator for a child, right? Now, when it comes to this child, how many of these people who are pro-life are going to step up? Say, for instance, the family didn't want this kid. They don't want to take care of it. They're not prepared to take care of it. They don't have the means to take care of it. Say all of that could be true. Those people who call themselves pro-life advocates, are you going to step up and take care of this child that you forced this family to suffer for in order for that child to be here? Are they willing to do that? Oftentimes they're not, because everything is theoretical. More often than not, man, this stuff is theoretical to a lot of these people, man. It's just the we all are operating on the talking points and, our points of view, and we're trying to win political arguments and things of that nature. Meanwhile, real people are dealing with real fucking consequences. Right? So again, it's just one of those things, man, where I'm old enough to remember when Republicans were, they didn't want the government involved in your life like that. I don't know what the fuck happened to them. What the fuck happened to them? Like, Republicans they worried about who you marrying and shit. They want to turn back gay marriage. Gay marriage has been the law of the land for the last 10 years. How many straight people's marriage has been destroyed by the fucking institution of gay marriage? Don't worry, I'll wait. They marriages ain't got shit to do with your marriages. But for whatever reason, like, we're going back. All of these rights that people have been able to obtain. It's as if, they're trying to claw all this shit back. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all, man. Real talk. Let's see. What else we got going on, man? All right, so let's see. Tyler, the Creator, man. Tyler, the Creator he's hit the news, and not necessarily the news, but he's hit a lot of social media spaces as of late. Hey, man, he tied all these new podcasts, y'all.
That'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, man. Tyler, the Creator is sick of you niggas and y'all podcasts. They want to retire the podcast mics, man. Yeah, man. So we get this story here. This comes out of Billboard magazine, and he says, and the headline says, "Tyler, the Creator, hates your new podcast. We need electricians." The rapper and producer once said he would ban podcasts if he ever became president.
God damn!
Yeah, man. So let's see what they're talking about here on the story, man. It says, no, Tyler, Creator, does not want to listen to your new podcast, bro. The rapper and producer sat down with The Cut to talk about his latest Converse collab and was asked if there are any podcasts that he listens to, given his public disdain for them. "I think we give a lot of people who aren't smart and just want attention platforms to be loud and incorrect, and other stupid people follow them." Nigga. Straight up. He said before asking whatever's happened to being good at a trade, where are the people with skills? We need electricians. We need more drummers, painters, teachers. Everybody with a mic is crazy. I just think that shit is gross. However, he did make sure to bring up a couple good pies that have been able to grab his attention. Deontay Kyle, Grits and Eggs podcast is sick, and the Cutting Room Floor is sick. Those are two podcasts that are in the right direction. If you recall, Tyler has been anti-podcast for at least a year. Back in December, in his Billboard cover interview, he said podcasts should be on the chopping block first if he ever took office. If I was president, he said, the first thing I would do is take mics away from niggas. Elsewhere in the interview, he also asked about gatekeeping, and of course, he had some interesting things to say. Love gatekeeping, he told the outlet. Everything is not for everyone, and that's okay. People have to stop wanting to be invited into everything. It's okay to not be into something, bro. It's cool. It's chill. And while he did admit that gatekeeping music is a little weird, he's pro gatekeeping places to eat and fashion. Gatekeeping music is a little weird, but when it comes to companies, restaurants, and clothing, like certain restaurants that some people really love can get fucked up because someone makes a TikTok and now everything is sold out. The small thing they loved and enjoyed is no longer available for them to enjoy because everyone wants to be in on this new thing to feel like they're a part of something. That's when I'm like, nah, fuck that. Gatekeep your restaurant. So I don't know how much I agree with him on that. You know what I'm saying? I understand the sentiment. I don't know if I necessarily agree because of, even those restaurants are looking to become, successful and viable. And that's, everyone's, idea of successful and viable may be different, right? So you do have that aspect going on. Now, as far as the podcast thing is going on, like, yeah, man, the entry to podcasting isn't hard nowadays, man. I remember when I first started podcasting, dude, like you had to know what the fucking RSS feed was. You had to figure out how you can get one. I used to, it used to take me 12 hours to produce a 1 hour podcast. I mean, there was no such thing as live streaming back when I first started podcasting, man. That was like just not a fucking thing, right? And so with the ubiquitousness of so many people jumping into not just podcasting, but like, the thing of like now podcasting is all over YouTube. I remember like you had people who were jumping into podcasting, again, not knowing what an RSS feed was. They would just start up a YouTube channel, calling it a podcast. And now so many, that's the thing now, right? I mean, you can get video podcasts. I do video podcasts, and when I distribute the podcast, it's usually a video on Spotify, right? So like, I've been trying to adapt somewhat with the times, and I appreciate some of these new tools that make it easier for me to produce what it is that I do, and hopefully my audience can appreciate what it is that I put out. But I do try to take some level of care into talking about some of the things that I have some strong opinions on, and also try to take care of being factual in the things that I talk about, which is why, when I do tell y'all where I'm getting some shit from, I tell y'all where I'm getting shit from because I want y'all to know, like, hey, this is where I got it from. It might be a good source, maybe a shaky source, but at least y'all know where it came from, right? And so I understand the frustration because sometimes I listen to some of the stuff that gets shared around on social media. A lot of it is hyperbolic. A lot of it is over the top and is designed to be that way. Because again, going back into the shit with Jim Jones, right? Like the hyperbolic and over the top presentation of shit gets people's attention. It draws eyeballs. This is why when if you ever went on YouTube and say, for instance, if you're into the type of like political videos and things of that nature, if you've ever noticed, man, all of them are like their titling is very over the top, right? AOC eviscerates Trump in new speech, or Donald Trump annihilates the Dems in news fucking True Social post, right? They'll use terms like obliterate, annihilate, eviscerate, embarrasses, crushes. Like they do all these things to get your attention, and once you click, they got you, right? It's part of the game. So even with that, even with the podcasting, now we're having the same fucking discussions over and over again, whether it be $200 dates, whether it be, whether or not Cheesecake Factory is fine enough for a first date, whether it be, shit, are we, what's it take to be a real man? What's it take to be a real woman? A lot of gender wars type of stuff. And all of that stuff, despite everyone not necessarily feeling good about it, we continue to engage with it. So we're the problem. Will we admit that to ourselves, though, is the other part. Oftentimes we don't. Well, we're all a part of the problem. We like to point fingers at other people. But yes, even I and you and you can be part of the problem. So I understand his frustrations and stuff. I get it. I don't agree wholeheartedly, but I understand it. And so, yeah, man, Tyler, the creator, is like, yo, man, put these motherfucking podcast mics up. This is not my podcast mic, man. I mean, I'm a good podcaster, man. I try to be a good steward of the mic, man. I don't really want to be out here, blasting out bad information and being one of those hyperbolic niggas. I just try to give a good wholesome show. I try to put out a good wholesome show. So, yeah, man. Am I giving up my mic though?
Not never.
Nah, I'm not doing that. I think I do when I'm on the mic consistently, man, I think I do a pretty good job. So yeah, man, we got that going on. So let's see what else we got going on in the world, man. Okay. Let's talk about this here. Candace Owens, man, seems to be like Candace Owens is going on the goddamn rebrand. Like, she's still at it. Like, she's been trying to rebrand for a little while now. It's been some months and shit. Like, remember y'all when she went on the Breakfast Club and, she was talking with, Charlemagne and fucking DJ MB and Jess Hilarious, and they were asking her about God is good, God is great, and all that other stuff. Or better yet, what was that? God is good all the time, right? And all the time, God is good. Like, she didn't have the callback references and shit, but she did know the goddamn Fresh Prince theme. But lately she has been very forcefully talking against the presidency of Donald Trump, mostly Donald Trump's foreign policy. She's been talking against his foreign policy more often than not. And she went on Piers Morgan's show to talk about her disagreement with him with the bombing of Iran, right? And so I think I got some video here of that. I do hope that they don't because a lot of these YouTube channels are very protective of their content. They'll try to take my shit down off of the strength of me even replaying that shit, even though it should be under fair use. But we will be talking about this shit. Did I save it though? Where is it? Okay. Maybe I didn't save it. Let me do this thing here. Let me go ahead and search for the shit again. All right. Let me do this here. Boom, boom, boom. All right. All right. Here we go. I think this is it. Yeah, I think this is it. So let me pull this up so you guys can. Let me pull this up. We're going to watch a little bit of this, and then we're going to discuss some of it. Pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. All right. Let's see what's happening with Candace Owens on Piers Morgan and whether or not, she's really true to this rebrand. Because I've seen a lot of folks seemingly giving her the benefit of the doubt on this. And let's see what's happening. What's she talking about?
CozyEarth.com, promo code Piers. Stay cool.
It is not in America's strategic interest. There was no imminent threat. He could have taken this to Congress and he could have allowed the people's representatives to vote on whether or not
nobody does
it was
that.
in the American people.
No president in living memory has, with almost zero exceptions, has bothered to get congressional pre-approval for military strikes. We know that. You know that.
Yeah, we know that. And that's
Obama
not okay.
was the
By
big,
the way, that's not
Obama
okay. That's
did more strikes than anybody, right?
Yes,
Obama never asked anybody for any permission.
I'm not an Obama supporter. Yeah, that doesn't make it okay. By the way, like that argument, just so we're clear, saying, well, we've been doing it wrong forever, so we should just keep doing it wrong is not an argument that it's right.
I don't disagree with you about that.
Okay, so I disagree with Obama doing it. I disagree with Trump doing it.
Enough.
And especially when what we're talking about is what could rise to be a nuclear war, right? We should have done things the right way. And he had indicated that he was going to wait 2 weeks, and then he didn't wait 2 weeks because Bibi Netanyahu, at least according to the Israeli press, if you believe it, said, we're not waiting 2 weeks. We want this done immediately.
But here's the other part, right? Donald Trump always says he's going to, like, everything is 2 weeks out with Donald Trump. 2 weeks out for Donald Trump is just something to say, right? We've been waiting on a healthcare plan from Donald Trump since 2016. He said, my plan is coming in 2 weeks. Have you seen it? Nigga! He said that, the tariffs are going to start up in the next 2 weeks. Have they started?
Well, that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
If they had, right? Donald Trump always says 2 weeks. It's something that he just says. It never doesn't really mean anything, which is why it's so weird that, him being president of the United States and his words having like real consequences for the fucking world, that when he says something, you can't take that shit to the bank because he doesn't really believe the shit that he's saying. Donald Trump has no ideology but Donald Trump himself. That is the only Donald Trump fucking ideology. He doesn't have a fucking plan. He never has.
But I will say you are correct. He's not just doing this because Bibi Netanyahu demands it. He's also doing it because Miriam Adelson demands it. He took $100 million from Miriam Adelson. It was very clear what she wanted. She was clear that she wanted to annex the West Bank. So there was an imperialist plan that was put into place. And unfortunately, when you do a deal with the devil, you're going to have to eventually deliver the pound of flesh. And that is what Trump is doing, in my opinion. And more evidence of that is the fact when he tweeted that there could be a Trump hotel in Gaza. I mean, that was truly, in my opinion, the most inhumane thing he's ever tweeted.
Well, I think but it's also on brand for Donald Trump. Now, here's the thing, and I will like it as much as people are like kind of taking this in with Candace Owens, and they're like, yo, man, Candace Owens is really going hard at Donald Trump. Like, I can't believe she's doing all this. Understand something, man. If you've been watching, if you've been paying attention for any length of time, but also when you understand how a lot of this shit works, understand that Donald Trump has no more legitimate, let's make that clear, legitimate elections to run, right? Now, I know they've been floating this whole idea of Donald Trump becoming running for a third term because he believes that his second term was stolen from him in 2020, right? Still floating that bullshit lie. But he doesn't have any real elections to run for anymore. And if things happen the way they're supposed to happen, we no longer have a Donald Trump in the presidency going forward. We don't have to worry about Donald Trump anymore. Hopefully, McDonald's will finally do his thing, Father Time, does his thing, and we no longer have to worry about him, right? But what we're finding, what we're seeing though, with these rebrands, and it's not just her. I don't even know. So this is just, I don't even necessarily want to call all of these rebrands. Excuse me. But what we're seeing is they have room now because he doesn't have any fucking candidate. He doesn't have any more races to run. What we're seeing is there's now room for some of these people to come out and start acting as though they're acting in opposition to Donald Trump. You're seeing it with how Rand Paul is positioning himself against the big, beautiful bill. You're seeing it with, what's his name? I want Senator Massey, how he's positioning himself. You see even Marjorie Taylor fucking Greene. Like, when you saw Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out against Donald Trump, first things first, you didn't think you would see it. Not never. You didn't think you would see it, but you saw her talking shit about, Donald Trump doing this bombing and it's America first and all these other things, right? So now they feel like they have room to move around and talk crazy because they are trying to position themselves as moderate to a degree for people who would have problems with them being fully MAGA going into these 2026 midterms. And to that, I'm just like,
supposed to feel sorry for that bitch. I don't
feel sorry for these motherfuckers because they made their beds and now they got to lie in it. Especially someone like Candace Owens, who's trying to ingratiate herself with people who have, by and large, pegged her correctly, right? You are part of the reason why we are in this predicament to begin with. You campaign vehemently on this man's behalf. This man has told us prior to, hey, man, that Gaza Strip could be very good, beachfront property. This man went out and created an AI video, or someone created an AI video of Trump Tower, Gaza Strip, and all the other things, and then reposted this shit on True Social. This man tells y'all what the fuck he wants to do, and it's all self-serving. So color me motherfucking surprised when you act like you didn't know this shit. And you get on, platforms like Piers Morgan and on Twitter and all these other places and act as though, oh my God, this ain't what I voted for. This is some bullshit. Like, nah, nigga, they told you. They fucking told you, man.
Pretty clear I think what he was doing there was pretty clear. He's saying he wants a better life for Palestinian people, a life where they have beaches.
Yeah, and that's bullshit too. This is the type of apologetic shit people say for that type of stuff. They are actively killing those people. They're actively ethnically cleansing those people from that area right fucking now. And the fact that you would say, well, he's just saying he wants a better life for those people in that area. How they gonna have a better life if they all dead, Pierce? How they gonna do that? Make that shit make fucking sense, man.
You pair that with Jared Kushner and Jared Kushner's private equity firm and their ties to what's happening in Israel, and Jared Kushner being on camera shortly after October 7th saying, wow, that property could be worth a lot of money. It makes me a little bit uncomfortable. It makes Americans a little bit uncomfortable. Now, you've asked me to come onto your show to explain to you how the now very fractured MAGA movement is feeling, and I'm telling you that, right?
No, it's really, I find the split in the conservative movement in America genuinely fascinating. Because it really is a genuine schism now.
And it's manufactured.
Yeah, there's a genuine schism, and it's only going one direction. And by the way, we shouldn't even call this a schism, because trying to dress this up and delude us into believing that the MAGA movement is what has Meghan McCain cheering, John Bolton cheering, has Mark Levin cheering. The literal faces of the Never Trump movement are saying this is real MAGA. Yeah, we're not going to be that delusional.
But you're on the same side as Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez. How do you feel about that?
You're asking about the MAGA movement. The MAGA movement has always been a movement that explicitly did not want to keep involving our sons and daughters in the Middle East. So we have not changed that position. If AOC was always anti-war, then she should have thrown on a red hat in 2020 and in 2015 and joined the MAGA movement. That would have.
Now, it's important that we heard her say that. And the reason why I think it's important that we heard her say that is because that goes to show you that this isn't really a rebrand. There will be people in political spaces who believe that, like, hey, man, maybe Candace Owens isn't as bad as we thought she was, when Candace Owens is very much so as bad as y'all thought she was, right? But if they can appeal to people to say, hey, man, I don't necessarily agree with everything that MAGA stuff got going on, but on this, man, they making a whole lot of sense. They could have been making this sense, man. They could have, but they didn't want to, because it wasn't politically expedient at the time. They recognize that Donald Trump bombing Iran after at the behest of Israel isn't politically popular in America right now. So now they have a little wiggle room to act as though they're very forcefully against this. But make no mistake, they wanted this fucking presidency, despite everything that Trump projected and portended that he wanted to do. She's a part of that as much as everybody else. So yeah, man, this isn't a rebrand. This is just them positioning themselves as though MAGA isn't out that bad, because he's doing so much shit so early in this presidency that they want to blunt any type of political gains Democrats may make in the midterms, because that means if they are able to blunt any sort of gains that Democrats are able to get in the midterms, say, for instance, the Democrats flip the House. Now you got a way in which to investigate Donald Trump. You got a way in which to kind of keep Donald Trump in check. So a lot of the things that Donald Trump wants to get done gets gummed up in the mix, because he can't just bypass Congress. The Congress, if they do their job, steps up and they provide actual fucking oversight over this administration. If they actually when legislation comes across, that bullshit doesn't go through all the way where he can sign it into law, right? And so they want to blunt any sort of gains that Democrats could gain in 2026, next year, as a matter of fact. Midterms ain't that far away. So I need people to take heed to what the play is. They are trying to make themselves look like, a little bit moderate, a little bit against this shit, so that you would think that they're being reasonable when ultimately they support all of this shit all the way. That's the play. That's the play. So yeah, man, we got that going on. That girl ain't rebranding. It's the same shit, Same shit. Real talk. So yeah, man, we got that going on. Now, this particular story here, though, let's see. Let's do this here. I'm not going to talk about this because this is just silly. So I'm not going to talk about this. But yeah, Trump has a fucking cell phone company, and this is the reason why cell phones, he exempted those types of things from his tariffs and shit, because of course he has his own cell phone company. Now, why would Trump need to get rid of the tariffs on his own cell phones when the cell phones are supposed to be manufactured in America? Well, it's because the motherfuckers were never going to be produced here in America.
Not never.
But, you know, if Trump knows anything, man, I will give that man this. That man knows suckers when he sees them. And he's got at least 76 million of these motherfuckers who decided they was going to cast a vote for him this last election. And now we all have to deal with the consequences of that bullshit. So, yeah, man, that's as much as I'm going to talk about the whole Trump mobile thing. I wasn't going to talk about it. And I was like, yeah, shit. But, yeah, we got that going on. So that's what that was. Yeah, man, let's get to this, man. So Nelly, y'all know Nelly got a lot. Nelly got a lot of shit, man. He got a lot of shit. I gave Nelly a lot of shit, even here on the Miss Spann official podcast, man. When Nelly decided that he was gonna go up there and he was gonna, you know, shuck and jive for Donald Trump. He was up there on this MAGA bar. Yeah, man, he was up there shucking and jiving for Trump at that ball. Snoop Dogg was up there doing that same shit with the crypto ball. Yeah, man, they were both up there. They both caught a lot of flack for their appearance and performing at these inaugural balls for Donald Trump. And they both tried to like kind of gaslight the community, man. They both was on some, man, after everything gotta do from the black community, man. You know, y'all, this is how y'all gonna try to treat me, man. This some bullshit, man. You know, I'm doing this, that, and the other. And it's like, hey, man, yeah, you could, for all of the things that you may have done for the community, you showing up in that way for that man does make people look at you a different fucking way. Bottom line, if you're not self-aware, this is the thing, it's the lack of self-awareness that is like the key to all of this shit. If these motherfuckers were actually self-aware, they would understand why this is not a good look. But they don't do that. They don't have the level of self-awareness that is needed to navigate these waters, apparently, right? And so, excuse me. Oh shit, I guess I'll take the ad blocker off on this one. I hate this shit. But Nelly went on, I want to say it was Hot 97 in New York, and they asked him about his pro-Trump stance. And Nelly took offense to the idea that anybody would consider him pro-Trump. Yeah, man. So we get the story here. This comes out of Black Enterprise magazine. It says, while speaking with Ebro in the morning, with the Ebro in the Morning podcast, he made clear that collecting a check does not equate to endorsement. Nelly says he took exception to all the speculation that he was a Trump supporter, despite his performing at a Trump inaugural event. Additionally, Nelly believes that people on the internet in the internet age prefer to spin tales as opposed to listening to his words. See, this is what I'm saying. When did you get pro-Trump? What you did, what you had was respect for office, he said. And it's great how people spin narratives of things that I think fit best what they're against. You know what I'm saying? Instead of giving a brother the exact fundamentals of what he did, what he said, nobody's doing that anymore. So here's the thing, right? I think there should have been video attached to this. Yeah, I think they do have video. I'm gonna pull this up because I think it comes across better when you hear it coming out of the horse's mouth. So I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can listen and see right along with your man Spann. However, I'm gonna let this play, and then we gonna talk on the other end. What the
Nelly, they've been had you under fire, man. We've been talking about your political stances out here.
Oh yeah.
You still on your pro Donald Trump stance?
See, this is what I'm saying. What did you get pro Donald?
I didn't
What did you get pro? What you had was respect for office.
Okay.
And it's great how people spin narratives to things that I think best fit whatever they're against. You know what I'm saying? Instead of giving a brother the exact fundamental of what he did, what he said. Nobody's doing that anymore. Everybody's, if you did this, you're for him. And it's amazing how you could do something, but if you don't agree with everything that somebody does, which I plainly said that, I don't agree with everything my wife does. So to be in a situation to where, no, I have respect for the office. This person does some things good. This person does something good. I never endorsed any president. You know what I'm saying? I've never did that a day in my life. What I did say is that I'm a military brat. I love our men and women that service this country. I've done things all around this country. I've entertained the troops. Nobody bring that up. I've stay a commitment in my community. You know what I'm saying? And I have a beautiful black family.
All right. Now, he's pretending to act as though people don't know where they got the idea that he could be possibly pro Donald Trump, right? Let's go back a few months. When he was on Willie D's show. Willie D, rapper. I guess he's now a YouTuber and podcaster now. Large, YouTube following. Used to be a member of the legendary rap group, the Ghetto Boys out of Houston. This is where they got it from, Nelly. This is where they got it from. And you think everybody's stupid.
I'm not out on the political campaign. I didn't get none of that 1.5. You see what I'm saying? Like to try to help somebody give.
Okay, so when he says I didn't get any of that 1.5, apparently this is a talking point that Kamala Harris had $1.5 billion to spend, and she spent it on celebrities, but she didn't give Nelly any part of that 1.5. And Nelly is asserting here that if Kamala Harris would have given him a part of that 1.5 billion, he would have been out here performing for Kamala Harris. She didn't. Therefore, now he's out here performing for Donald Trump. Okay.
Voted.
Kamala didn't invite you to perform?
No. She didn't invite me.
She didn't invite me either, man. I was going to do my own home.
Like, so, but I don't knock the ones that did. I don't knock the brothers and sisters that benefited from it. I don't knock the correspondents that may have gotten money to do that. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this because it's an honor. I respect the office. It don't matter who is in office. The same way that our men and women, our brothers and sisters who protect this country have to go to war and have to put their life on the line for whoever in office.
Okay, now, this is the part that he wants us to remember, because this is what he alluded to in that Hot 97 interview. He has respect for the office in the military. He was a military brat and all these other things, right? Okay, cool. You did say this, but you said some other things, Nelly, and you think we stupid.
So if they can put their life on the line for whoever in office, I can damn sure perform for whoever.
What do you say to the people that say we're not giving you this backlash because of your political affiliation or your political choice or whatever? We're giving you this backlash because you are propping up a white supremacist.
I would ask them to show me where he's a white supremacist, and here's the thing.
And this is where you run into trouble, Nelly, because now you act like you are not aware. You're not aware of the things that people have accused him of being that help him become, I'm sorry. You're acting as though you're not aware of the things that people will point to that would suggest that he's a white supremacist, or is at least at the very least racist. You're acting as though you're ignorant to it, but you know you're not ignorant to it because you allude to some of those things that these people are going to bring up.
Okay, I get it. He did say if you don't vote for me, you're not black, right? Oh no, that wasn't him. That wasn't him. Hold on. I'm trying to think. Hold on. He did create
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
He did create the crime bill in the 90s, which said that if you get caught with 5 grams of crack, you do a mandatory 5 years. That had mass incarceration. I think even the Vice President Kamala spoke on that part, that said that the crime bill played a huge part. No, he didn't do that. Let me see. What did he do? I'm trying to think. The white supremacist. Hold on. I'm gonna get to it. Okay, he did not rent to black people. What was it, in the 70s or the 80s? Is that what they said? And like, oh, okay, is he written to him now? So nobody.
So now we're gonna downplay. Hold on, you wanna play up. You know, the retrospectively, you want to play up the ramifications of the 1994 crime bill. You want to retrospectively play up the jokingly way that Joe Biden was speaking to Charlemagne the God. Now, yeah, was Joe Biden out of pocket for that joke? Absolutely. I don't think anybody would fucking I don't think anybody would be like, hey, they'd be like, hey man, all right, you doing too much right now. I think most people would be like, hey man, you're doing too much right now. But because of the policies that Joe Biden actually implemented during his fucking presidency, you'd be like, it was a joke, right? Meanwhile, you got Trump taking away Pell Grants or trying to defund Pell Grants that a lot of our black students, black college students, would depend on in order to be able to afford to go to college whatsoever. You got his his administration taking out black history in the military, where they don't even want to talk about Jackie Robinson and his contribution to the military, where you've got them trying to take over what types of historical displays can be held at the African American History Museum, the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C., right? Where you've got them taking out books written by historical influential black authors and calling it DEI if those books are anywhere close to not even just DEI, but critical race theory. If we even acknowledge these black authors and these black thinkers and entrepreneurs and business, but you want to play that stuff, you want to play this down. You think people are stupid. You thought that the only thing that we were going to remember was that you said, hey, I'm an Army brat, and I have respect for the office, and I got respect for the troops. You thought that was the only thing that people were going to remember. But we remember this too, Nelly. We remember this too.
Nobody's allowed to change, right? See, here's the thing. So we can talk about past, but we never want to talk about our past. If our past get brought up in our community for a lot of what our men did, we always call it rehabilitation. Yo, these young brothers, we've been through a lot. I know I've been through a lot. If my past was what was going to prevent me from winning today, I wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that he ain't got some fucked up ways. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's why I'm not telling you who to vote for. But what I'm saying is that he's the president of the United States. He's not the candidate for the United States. He's the president. He won.
I think if Trump, some of these ways, like, with the housing discrimination that he participated in back in the 80s, if that was a one-off, if that was, or even if he had some other things going on where he looked like a bigot to us, that might be one thing. But it's another thing when he starts saying things like when you have a situation where you have black folks getting their heads blown off by the police with impunity, and Trump says, I'm going to give them even more impunity. Hold on. We're going to be the ones affected the most by something like
impunity. He's not giving them.
He didn't say he was going to give them impunity. He said he was going to give them immunity.
Right. Not for working outside of your job. Nobody's going to give anybody immunity to go around and shoot and kill people. Right.
Again, the excuses that you're making for Donald Trump, even today, after having seen some of the policies that Donald Trump has been executing, the excuses that you're making for him in this moment last year, and then to have an interview, now you're trying to walk away from it now. But you were making excuses for this motherfucker, saying, oh, that was some shit back in the 80s. Don't everybody got room to change? Like, nah, you were making excuses for this shit earlier. This is where people get the idea that you were pro-Trump. Nelly, Cornell. This is where they get the idea. You think people are stupid. Nigga, the internet is forever. The internet is forever. And so, yeah, man, I'm just like, it's weird, man, because again, we are in this predicament because too many people, one, either didn't take Donald Trump seriously when he would say the shit that he wanted to do, and two, when they are confronted with the choices that they made, are now, trying to act as though, they were duped in some sort of way. And no, you weren't duped. This is just what the shit was, man. It's just what the shit was. Now, before we get on up out of here, because I got a couple things I kind of really wanted to talk about. I've been running my mouth for a minute, but I still got some shit to say. God damn. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to talk about this, and then we're going to talk about this other thing, and then we're going to get up out of here. I'm going to talk about the shit I want to talk about tonight. Because it's been a while. I ain't been on the mic in a couple weeks, so it's been a while. So, yeah, let me take this down. But this is something I kind of wanted to talk about, man. Are black people still resting when it comes to standing up against this Trump administration? Are we still resting? Is that still the charge going forward right now? And the reason why I ask this question, man, is because there have been, we've had some things happen over the course of the last few months since Donald Trump. Over the course of the last 6 months. It's only been 6 months, which is the scary part about all of this shit, right? But we've had a bunch of shit happen over the course of the last 6 months where I believe that a lot of people should find themselves a little bit more engaged in the resistance part of this Trump administration as far as how we fight it, right? And I know, and I sympathize, and I empathize, and I understand, nigga, more than most, like the level of betrayal a lot of people felt when we saw the results of that election in 2024, when we saw Kamala Harris lose to this orange buffoon. I'm probably one of them in regards to, like, when it comes to black men, I am the hardest on black men when I seen the numbers that Donald Trump was able to garner with black men, because I'm like, yo, man, what the fuck was on you niggas' mind? And it reached me on a personal level where there are people that I had love for, whom I know voted for Donald Trump, whom I cut off. And when I tell people I cut them off, they think I'm bullshit. They're like, damn, man, you really did that? And I'm like, yes. And they think I'm crazy. I've had these conversations, man. They think I'm crazy when I say, hey, man, I don't fuck with him no more because he voted for Donald Trump. And they like, damn, man, for real? Because he voted for Donald? Yes, nigga, for real, because he voted for Donald Trump. Because I understand what that means for the rest of us, right? And then people try to be like, man, you can't be like that about people and they political differences. And I'm like, hold on. Understand something here. And I think this is a thing that far too many people don't really recognize, especially in a day like today. But if you decided, I'll put it like this. If you decided, hey, Spann, I'm going to become Muslim. And because I'm going to become Muslim, I no longer drink. I no longer eat pork. I can't go out to the bar with you because of how I feel about my religion and I'm devout to it and things like that, right? You know what? I ain't mad at you because that affects me very little. You choosing not to eat bacon doesn't affect me because I'm about to eat this bacon, right? I fucks with bacon. Bacon is like manna from heaven. The shit is delicious. Not giving up the bacon. If you decide that you don't want to drink no more, hey, brother, more power to you. I love that for you, but I'm going to sip, okay? I'm going to sip. If you decide that you can't come to the bar with me, not like I go to the bar all the time, but I got a little watering hole, right? If you decide that you don't want to go to the bars no more, hey, brother, that's fine. I can go there by myself, go get my drink, have a burger or something like that, and come my ass right back home. That makes me, I mean, it just makes like the logistics of a lot of shit easier for me. I appreciate you. As a matter of fact, I love that for you. Now, when it comes to your political choices, that might have something to do with me. That might have something to do with whether or not my taxes go up or down. That might have something to do with what school my daughter or grandkids or future grandkids may be able to go to going forward. That may also have something to do with the curriculum that either my children or future grandchildren would be able to learn from in the public school system if I put them in a public school system. Your political choices can affect me. So the idea that it's crazy that I would cut a motherfucker off for putting me in a politically disadvantageous position and you say you love me, to me it's crazy that you think it's crazy that I would not fuck with you no more. That's how I feel about it. And I think far too often we don't put those types of stakes in the decisions that we make. We think everything is a fucking game. Social media has numbed us to a lot of shit. Social media has allowed for things that we would normally be like, man, that is some crazy fucking talk. And we will move this nigga aside and keep right on walking up the street. But now you are inundated with the shit from the crazy motherfucker that you wouldn't have listened to before. And that shit affected people that I know. To the point where I know, hey man, if that's what you want, I can't fuck with you. I'm on some other shit. I hope you are good over there, but you gonna be good over there without me. Right? Now, I asked this question, are we still resting? Because oftentimes what we see, especially now with, the way that ICE is operating across the country, with the demonstrations that are happening, like we had the No Kings thing happening across the nation. 5 million people got out and demonstrated. ICE went out and they're at the Home Depots. They're at the, they're trying to get people who are at their immigration hearings. They're snatching those people up at the hearings. The people who, and it is weird because people say all the time, hey, if they just try to do the shit, if they just do the shit the right way, if they would just do the shit the right way, we wouldn't have to deal with all this bullshit. But here they are. They come over here illegally. They don't contribute anything. They're out here. They're getting all of our fucking resources, man. We're paying into the goddamn system to take care of all these goddamn illegals. And then they're taking all the fucking resources. You got Venezuelans getting $5,000 food stamp checks. It's like, nigga, you don't know that to be true. You heard it on the internet somewhere. You don't know that to be true. Right? But when the election results came down, I saw a lot of people say they rested. Don't go out there and protest. Don't be a part of those protests. They're looking for black people to be out there to protest, right? And the reason why they're looking for the black people to go out there and protest is because if black people go out there and protest, then they're going to send the National Guard out there, and they're going to send the motherfucking armed forces out there, and then that'll give them a reason to have martial law. Well, guess what, niggas? They doing that already. Nigga! And they ain't had y'all black asses out there. They are already sending the National Guard out, federalizing them, whether black people are involved or not. They are already weaponizing the United States military against citizens, whether your black ass is out there or not. And I'm wondering whether or not we're still resting. I don't want to cast any aspersions. I don't. I really don't. But I wonder how this type of messaging, I'm just going to say that. I wonder how this type of messaging helps us going forward. I'm going to pull this video up. And this is something that I like. I subscribe to the channel. But very big proponent of sitting at home. Don't do nothing. Don't get involved in that way. Right? I'll just pull this up. Let me just do that. I'm gonna just pull this up. Let's see. All right. This is with a Tabitha Speaks Politics. I like her. I like some of her. I hate that she, records a lot of this shit in landscape, especially when I'm watching her stuff on my TV. But this is, I guess, the way motherfuckers do their shit now. Like, nobody recognizes that we got widescreens, baby. Like, but everybody doing their shit with their phone straight up. They don't turn that bitch to the side so you can get the whole shot. But that is what it is. But yeah, let's listen to what this sister has to say about black people have been in the fight. Sit down and leave us alone. Yeah.
To those stating it is not my fight. This is why this country is in the position that it is today. The color of my skin should not matter. Whether I'm brown, black, purple. This is a humanitarian issue.
Well, I'm black, and I've been fighting for humanity for most of my adult life. Let's see how much you've been fighting for this humanitarian issue. This is awkward. There has to be something on your page that shows us how passionate you are about fighting for humanitarian issues, Mexican issues. Let's take another look. Let me take one more look. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Let me take one more look.
If this world were mine. Hey, Roman numeral 7, baby. If this world was mine, I'd take your dream.
These people are hopping up on this platform, talking mad shit, and they have not been in the fight. Miss Ma'am, please have several seats. I went through your entire page. You popped up on the scene over here on TikTok in February. And all of those videos that you posted before you started talking about being in the fight, humanitarian issues, all of those videos, you got less than 100 views. And now all of a sudden, you're getting much higher views. Wonder why that is. You talking to people who are saying that this isn't their fight. Yeah, that got a whole lot of views. You using Tupac sound, hyping up Mexicans now that Mexicans are being hunted down in the streets. And once your views started to skyrocket because you're talking about humanitarian issues, none of those show you out in the street in the fight. Yeah, have several seats because some of us have been in the fight for decades. And we told you what was going to happen. Leave black people the fuck alone. You get out in the streets and start fighting for your people. Where was your voice when we were warning your people about this administration? Where was your voice in chastising Latinos for Trump? Where was your voice when it came to holding your community accountable? Your ass was talking about motivation in regards to relationship issues. Yeah, sit your ass down.
And okay. Again, I get the frustration. But at the same time, I am not in any position to tell people when to get involved or how to get involved. I've never told anybody to not protest. Not on this show. As long as I've been a podcaster, man, and I've been podcasting for 15 years damn near. I have never got on this microphone and told the people who want to go out there and protest to not go out there and protest. I've never said that. But we have a contingent of social media content creators, influencers, and what have you, who would tell black people to not get involved, despite everything that we're seeing right now. And at this point, I don't know if I agree with that. What is us not being involved going to stop? Right? And the reason why I asked that question, what is us not being involved going to stop, has something to do with this here, right? So let me go back. There was a Supreme Court ruling that came down earlier this week. A Supreme Court ruling that came down earlier this week where Donald Trump would be allowed to, I'm sorry, not even so much about allowing Donald Trump, where there are federal judges across the nation. What the fuck? This shit is acting up on its own right now. But there are federal judges across the nation. Sometimes when Donald Trump tries to do something through executive order and whatnot, and end around Congress, these federal judges have been implementing injunctions to keep those sorts of policies from actually taking effect. And what this particular Supreme Court has done is it has basically cut those federal judges off at the knees to say that they are overstepping their bounds by implementing a nationwide injunction. Interestingly enough, when it came to certain abortion bans, and federal judges who are right-wing leaning, the Supreme Court didn't step up in this way, right? Now, Donald Trump is going after the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. He wants to get rid of birthright citizenship. Nigga! Now, for those of us who are, a little aware, 14th Amendment was a Reconstruction Amendment. 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments came after during the Reconstruction era. The 14th Amendment is what gave black people, slaves, former slaves, citizenship in the United States. It took us from being slaves to citizens, right? And now they're questioning whether or not the 14th Amendment, the Trump administration, is questioning whether or not The 14th Amendment to the Constitution is fucking constitutional.
Oh man, hey.
Now, they would frame this on the premise of they're trying to get rid of Hispanic people or people of foreign origin who would come here and have babies, and their babies would be automatic American citizens, and therefore they would call them anchor babies. But if you got rid of the fucking 14th Amendment, what does that mean for black people in America if the 14th Amendment is what gave black people in America citizenship? What does that mean for us? I know a lot of black people think that, hey, this shit that he got going on with the Mexicans and the Venezuelans and the Cubans and all of the brown folks, that ain't got shit to do with us. We all right. We was born here. They are trying to strip away the shit, the foundation of your very fucking citizenship. And meanwhile, we got social media influencers telling you to sit your ass at home. Don't worry about it, baby. Don't take your ass out here to these protests, man. It's all right, man. They voted for this. And again, yeah, they voted for this. But we also have to deal with the ramifications of that. Your choice affects me fucking too. It affects us too. And far too many of us don't recognize the danger that we're up against right now because we rested. We didn't vote for this. And I'm not the type of person, like I'm not, you ain't seen me on no, you have never seen me out out doing a protest. I ain't never been out, up against the police, getting tear gas and none of that shit. But I've also never talked shit about those who were. And I've also never told the people who were about that life to not go out there and do it. I've never done that. In 15 years on this microphone, I've never done that. I'm not going to do that shit now. The stakes are too fucking high for us to be telling the people who want to go out there and raise their voices and let their voices be heard to say, nah, don't go out there and do that. Because if we go out there, then they going to do martial law. If we go out there, they going to have the military out in the streets. Well, they doing that shit already and we ain't out there. So what the fuck are you talking about right now? And this ain't even about us, so to speak. They are chipping away at our fucking rights at every fucking turn. And you got niggas talking about something, well, we just going to sit this one out. Because we pouting about that motherfucking election. Well, guess what, man? Sometimes you not only do you need people out on the streets, but you also need motherfuckers to go vote. It's not a goddamn one fucking or one situation or one solution type of thing. We need a multi-pronged approach. Whether that be a financial boycott in the name of Target, so to speak, whether that be a grassroots effort to get people who are politically aligned with our needs in office, whether that be taking your ass out into the streets and making the powers that be know that you are not happy with the status quo. You are not happy with what they're doing. But to tell people to not get involved in 2025 in this administration is irresponsible to me. I think it's very fucking irresponsible. Now, some of y'all may think, yo, Spann, man, you being hyperbolic, man. Like Trump throwing black people about. Trump don't give a fuck about black people. Trump ain't never gave a fuck about us. Trump only gives a fuck about himself. Y'all seem to forget, a lot of people seem to forget that the only reason Donald Trump ran for president again is to keep from going to fucking jail. That was the sole reason for his ass running the last time, man. And when you recognize that the only reason that this motherfucker ran was to keep from going to jail, you also understand that now he feels like he can get away with any motherfucking thing he wants. Not only that, he done empowered himself in a way in which now he's surrounded by sycophants who will do whatever the fuck he wants because he didn't want people who would check him on, hey man, you really can't do that, man, because we got rules against this shit. That's not constitutional, man. What are you doing? Nah, man, like that's against the rules. You had people in that first administration, you know, as little as they may have been in their efforts. You know what? I won't even do that. I won't belittle their efforts. They kept a lot of shit from happening. But now you got this nigga unleashed. And so, like, to hear black people talk about, hey, don't, like, when you know, I get, again, the frustration, right? I get the frustration. Here's why I get the frustration. But before we get to that, this is Donald Trump talking about the Supreme Court giving him the ability to implement some of the shit that would take away your 14th Amendment rights. Let me pull this up so you guys can listen, or better yet, watch right along with your man Spann. We get this here from NBC News. This is Trump talking about his Supreme Court victory about the 14th Amendment. Check this out, y'all.
Judges who've blocked key portions of his agenda.
This was a big decision, an amazing decision.
The justices in a 6-3 ruling significantly limiting the power of individual lower court judges to issue decisions with nationwide effect. Those judges handing down more than 24 injunctions blocking Trump executive actions as of May, from military service to federal funding to the focus of the current case, a nationwide injunction halting his executive order banning birthright citizenship.
Now, keep in mind that Trump administration officials will tell you, hey, these courts have been, they've been pulling up injunction after injunction against his president. And, it's about the judiciary being totally against his administration. Like he isn't doing unprecedented shit all the time. Right? There's a reason why there's so many injunctions against the shit that this motherfucker is trying to do. There's a reason for it. These courts aren't just going out of their way to say, fuck it, we got to stop Trump. No, some of the shit he's been doing has been unfucking constitutional. And the fact that the Supreme Court of these United States at this moment in 2025 has us questioning whether or not the 14th Amendment of the Constitution is unconstitutional is fucking crazy. Crazy.
We've seen a handful of radical left judges effectively try to overrule the rightful powers of the president to stop the American people from getting the policies that they voted for in record numbers.
Justice Amy Coney Barrett, writing for the conservative majority today, finding lower court judges have gone too far with their nationwide orders. Writing, when a court concludes that the executive branch has acted unlawfully, the answer is not for the court to exceed its power too. The ruling sparking a pointed clash between the justices. Liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor dissenting, saying, today's decision is not just egregiously wrong, it is also a travesty for the rule of law. The High Court not asked to rule on the merits of the president's effort to ban the birthright citizenship provided under the Constitution to the babies of undocumented immigrants.
That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation.
One of the undocumented pregnant women who originally sued the Trump administration, with her baby now due in 2 weeks, asking to remain anonymous today,
La verdad que me siento muy triste.
Telling us she is very sad, not knowing if her child will be granted citizenship,
La respuesta, tener una respuesta especialmente,
but going to keep fighting. Meantime, the High Court also wading into fresh clashes over the First Amendment. The conservative majority finding Maryland parents are now allowed to withdraw their children from public school on days that books with gay and transgender themes are taught, and upholding a Texas law requiring the users of websites with sexually explicit material provide identification verifying they are over 18.
And with that,
So think about this for a second. Again, these are things that Republicans used to say that they didn't want the government to be involved in. And now if you want to go jerk off on a fucking porn site, you got to provide them with identification. Right? Hey, like even with the whole shit about, hey, if the kids are reading something that may have something to do with gay or lesbian material in the school, like I'm of an age where I remember when Jehovah's Witness kids couldn't be a part of birthday celebrations in class. So if like a kid had like, if a kid's mom brought birthday cake, up to the school and they were giving everybody cake and ice cream and stuff like that to celebrate a kid's birthday while at school, where the Jehovah's Witness kids had to be removed from class for stuff like that. That part isn't necessarily new. We've dealt with that for a long time. I'm of an age where I remember things like that. I think it's sad. I really do think it's sad, but that's not new. The religious exemptions and things of that nature. That part isn't new. I just think that the fact that we have Republicans now inserting themselves into the lives and into like the everyday machinations of how people live their lives when they basically campaign for decades on being not that is strange to me. But also, again, when we talk about whether or not we're resting or not, we're resting. Hey, man, like it's too much shit going on for us to be out here allegedly resting, so to speak. So you got that going on. Now, let's see, let me take this down. But also, it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that. It was also, again, when I talk about the rest and how people are feeling about it, this is the reason. These are the reasons why I think a lot of people feel this way. And I'm not knocking them because I understand the frustrations, right? So, let me pull this up so you guys can watch this along with your man Spann. Hold on a second while I pull this up, because also this story went viral in ways that it shouldn't have, because there was a bunch of misinformation being spread across social media around this. So let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me here. Let me do this here. Boom, boom, boom.
We agree what the President Trump is doing, or what the administration is doing in deporting. We agree what the President Trump is doing, or what the administration is doing in deporting illegals. But we do know that unfortunately what's happening right now, after 6 months of being Mr. President being in office, that we're losing thousands and thousands of workers.
That was Republican Congresswoman Maria Salazar of Florida in a House committee.
Wait a minute. I don't think this is a story that I wanted to share. This isn't it. I'm sorry, guys. Let me. Okay. Yeah. That wasn't the story. I'm sorry, guys. Let me pull that back up. That was something different. I don't know where the fuck that came from. But, all right. Let's see what they're talking about. So he went to his appointment and he was picked up at the appointment. So this is about people doing shit the right way. They're trying to do shit the right way and they're still getting picked up at their appointments.
Sobre lo que está pasando ahora en este país, en este momento con respecto a las deportaciones. How do you feel about everything that's happening right now in this country with the deportations?
Todo. No sé cómo.
You don't understand how this could happen. ¿Qué pensaba que iba a pasar cuando ganó Trump? What did you think was going to happen when Trump won?
Él decía que él iba...
You're saying you believed the president when he said he was going to deport criminals.
So, you know, we hear shit like that as Americans, especially many of us black folks who know that Donald Trump is a habitual liar, has always been a habitual liar. A lot of us, we hear shit like that, like, man, y'all really thought that that's what the fuck he was on? Nah, he was on something entirely different. He doesn't give a fuck about none of y'all. He will use y'all in order to get elected, right? And so these types of, you know, here's the other part about this. Here's the other part about this, man. Many of us within, like, let's just say the black community, many of us may not have necessarily been aware of the type of misinformation and disinformation that was being fed to those people in that community. I've talked about misinformation and disinformation and how it relates to how we relate politically on this show for years, especially after 2015 and 16. And many people think it stopped after, you know, Hillary Clinton didn't win in 2016. A lot of folks, I believe, think it stopped after that. When they saw how effective that misinformation and disinformation was in electing Donald Trump in 2016, I don't know how anybody could have thought that they just stopped. They're like, well, I guess that shit didn't work. No, it worked. It worked, and it's still working. It's still working. So what I think has happened is that we will look at these people and say, well, they voted for this shit. Fuck them. And to a large degree, yeah, I agree. They voted for this shit. Fuck them. I got this whole shit right here. I will vote for Donald Trump. I got this shit right here. Anytime somebody in the Venezuelan or the Cuban community gets deported or something like that, and they own social media, this shit gets played. I will vote for Donald Trump. As a way to remind them, y'all voted for this shit. Right? Ultimately, we don't know what type of messaging they were doing to those folks to get them to really, like, honestly think that Donald Trump gave a goddamn about them. We know that some of them think that they are white adjacent. A lot of, you know, like a lot of the white Cubans and things of that nature. We know that they think they're white adjacent and it doesn't really affect them until it really does affect them. We get that. We get that. But what's going on with them doesn't stop with them. It does not stop there. They are actively attacking everybody who is currently of minority status. They are attacking Hispanics. They are attacking blacks. They are attacking Asians. They will use us. They will use the model minorities, right? They used Asians to get rid of affirmative action in college admissions. And now Asians aren't getting those spots, and, you know, they're not getting more spots, they're getting less. And white people are taking those spots. They're getting rid of, they're trying to mass deport. First, they convinced the Hispanic community that, hey, we're only going after the bad ones in your community. We're not trying to get rid of y'all. Meanwhile, they're getting rid of, they're going after people who are going to the immigration hearings and sending them to fucking gulags in foreign countries that they don't even have a citizenship claim to. They just sent a black child out of the country who has Jamaican descent, who was born on an American base, sent his ass out of the country. And his father is an American veteran, but they're deporting his child. These things affect us too. I don't think that we really have the room to sit back, and stand back and stand by, as Donald Trump would say when it came to the Proud Boys. I don't think we have the room to stand back and stand by, knowing that, hey, not only are they doing this to them, but that shit's not going to stop at them. It's going to eventually move to us too. It's going to move to us too.
Now, Elena is left behind with her daughter, 7-month-old son, and Ariel's 70-year-old grandmother, who has been a U.S. citizen for years. Together, facing a reality they never imagined.
Toda mi familia votó por Trump. Your whole family voted for Trump. Lo apoyaba a Trump durante su campaña. Did you support him? Yo estoy fuera. You're outside of it. You can't vote. Pero te sientes decepcionada. Do you feel disappointed, deceived, engañada? Me siento mal porque sé que ellos creían en él. You feel bad because the rest of them believed in him.
It's a concern Democratic strategists are capitalizing on, with billboards like these calling Republican lawmakers traitors. Still, here in Florida, Trump won almost 70% of the Cuban-American vote in 2024, along with 61% of Doral, home to the largest Venezuelan-American population in the U.S. They used us. Adelis Ferro is the co-founder and executive director of the Venezuelan-American Caucus.
How is the Venezuelan community feeling right now, especially in the context of these deportations?
Desperate, terrified. There are people with mental health issues. There are people with panic attacks, anxiety attacks. They rather to die than go back to Venezuela, and then
people
have to stop.
People are talking about taking their lives.
I have those messages.
Because the situation
Because
here
of the situation. They rather
so
to take their own lives, yes, than go back to Venezuela.
The ripple effects affecting families and businesses. This Venezuelan business owner, who asked us not to use his name to protect his business and fellow owners, said the political instability has led to a 20% drop in revenue.
It's affected your clients as well as the people who work here. A lot of people.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm gonna stop it there. But yeah, man. You know, as much as we can get on social media, and I think again, social media plays a big part in how we interact with the world now. We can get on social media and we can, remind them. I will vote for Donald Trump. We can remind them of that, but we can also recognize and understand that it's not stopping at them. These are the ones who have like the least fucking fight available to them. This is a vulnerable community because they don't have any ties here. They don't have any organization here. They don't have years here in the ways in which some of us black people have. And I'm not saying that I got like the largest, I've cut motherfuckers in my own circle off for voting for Donald Trump, right? I've cut them off. However, I will never tell anybody who wants to protest against this shit to not do it. And I think we do ourselves and our community a disservice when we see someone else dealing with an issue and we find ourselves like, well, that ain't got shit to do with us. And not confront it because it's not us right now. By the time it gets to us, it may be too late. It may be too late. So what would the old heads say? Since we are becoming the new old heads, what would the old heads say? What would Dr. Martin Luther King say about this? What would James Baldwin say about this? What would Fannie Lou Hamer say about this? What would Malcolm X say about this? What would those generational leaders say about the current condition that we find ourselves in this with this current government and how this current government is trying to tear down everything that they built. Everything. What would they say about that? And what would they say about our response to it right now? I think about that a lot. There was this one last thing that I wanted to talk about before we got up out of here. Because I don't want to end on some Trump shit. I just don't. I don't want to do that, man. I do not want to end on some Trump shit. Because fuck this guy, man. Fuck. Right? But this is one thing, man. I didn't make a banner for this. So I thought I did earlier today, but I didn't make a banner for this. But AI, man. AI has reached a bit of ubiquity amongst the world now. We're seeing AI, AI is popping up in very surprising places, right? So much so, and I got to come clean with you guys today. For any of you who've been like part of my social media and you've seen this book, this is let me make sure that the light isn't shining. It's like The Podfather of Pipe Fitting by me, Mr. Spann. Okay. I posted this on social media earlier. I want to say yesterday, right? This book was entirely created by AI. This was a birthday gift from one of my partners, man. This is a birthday gift from one of my partners. And I posted this on social media, and I said, "Hey, man, I forgot to tell y'all. I've been meaning to tell y'all something." And I was surprised by how many people by seeing this, because again, look at this. This shit looks fucking legit as shit. You know what I'm saying? And I thought there were enough clues on here where people would think like that can't be real. First thing being this right here where it says #1 worldwide bestseller. Right? I thought the people would catch that was a joke, right? They didn't. A lot of my friends were congratulating me. It's like, yo, that's dope. And all these other things. Y'all forget, your man Spann is a pipe fitter who works sometimes 16-hour days, 14-hour days. Oftentimes my job is what keeps me from the mic, not writing a book. But this book, it's got reviews and shit on the back. I'm gonna read one of the reviews on the back. It says, "A brilliant intertwining of blue-collar grit and digital age creativity, The Podfather of Pipe Fitting is a refreshing reminder that the skills we learn in one field can wildly redefine our paths in others. Mr. Spann's journey is as entertaining as it is inspiring, a must-read for aspiring podcasters and underdog enthusiasts alike from New Wave Reviews magazine." It's not real magazine. From The Literary Plumber. With a uniquely compelling voice, Mr. Spann reveals how years of navigating leaky pipes. I don't deal with leaky pipes. I am a gas pipe fitter, not a plumber. I am a gas pipe fitter. Laid the foundation for success behind the mic. His unexpected connection between plumbing and podcasting offers readers a humorous yet profound narrative of adaptability and ambition. Also, I will say this. If you've been watching me for a long time, y'all know I've been podcasting long before I became a pipe fitter. So, this was a gag gift. It's from Books by Anyone. There's a website. You can create a book and, it just become a thing. But, AI. This is a product. This book is a product of AI. You can't buy this shit anywhere, right? I can't give you a link to go buy this book. You can't buy this shit anywhere because it is one of one. It was a gag gift I was given by one of my partners for my birthday, right? All that to be said, when it comes to AI, we're seeing AI pop up in more surprising places. Well, not even so much surprising. I don't think the internet is surprising when it comes to AI, but we're seeing it pop up in like it's becoming more and more difficult to point out what's AI and what isn't. And one of the things I learned about posting this was how hard it is for people to figure out what's real and what isn't. And not only that, we don't necessarily recognize how much we've already contributed to AI and how AI has been able to mimic us, our colloquialisms, our images, our manner of communications. AI has been, especially if you get somebody who can like give it the correct prompt, how fast AI has been developing and producing content that will have you questioning whether or not shit's real or not, right? And so I came across this video. I want to share this video with you guys because I came across this video where they were talking a little bit about this, and I want to discuss it here, man. I want to discuss it here. So let me go ahead and pull this video up. And so we can discuss a little bit about it. I know I've been going on for a while. It's already 2 hours and 10 minutes into the show. So you guys are getting a bunch of show today because it's been a couple weeks, man. I ain't seen y'all in a couple weeks. But yeah, man, let's talk about this. But let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. All right, so it's basically AI influencers are taking over. I've seen a couple videos over the course of the last few weeks about AI influencers and how they're like all over like TikTok and things of that nature. So let me go ahead and play this so you guys can hear what this brother has to say, and then we can like kind of discuss it on the other end.
You should be terrified by AI at this point.
Come sharking with me, y'all. The ninjas is outside. Ooh, y'all, look at him.
What's up?
He is so fine, y'all.
Now, here's the thing, right? I think that even now, looking at this, I could tell it's AI. It's something. There's a lifelessness about the characters that are created via AI. That, you know, if you're watching, it's like you can just tell it's not a human. I don't like it used to be where you could tell by the hands. You could just look at their hands and be like, all right, they got like 12 fucking fingers and shit. That's AI. They've corrected a lot of that. But now it's about the lighting. It's about the skin tones. It's about the way in which they move. Their tattoos don't necessarily make any fucking sense. They still have trouble even just putting like, you know, like words together. Like you go on AI and like, you know, even looking at this shirt, what the fuck does that shirt even say? Palp angels? Palp angels? What the fuck does that even mean? Have you ever heard of a palm angels? Right? So like there are telltale signs all the time, but is becoming more is I keep saying it's but it's becoming harder to tell for a lot of folk. I'll say that.
Hey, where you from?
These niggas think this shit like... Last week, AI videos took over timelines on X after this video was posted on a pretty large account without even acknowledging that it was AI at all.
And I'm no longer on X, so like I saw that video, and the moment, like, of course, the moment I seen that she just swallowed a whole motherfucking chicken leg and damn bone and all, like all right, that's AI. But like apparently people were amazed at like that. But for any of us who were aware, you know, like Google came out with this AI engine, basically this AI video engine called VO3. And if you have a Google One account, if you're willing to spend $130 a month, you too can create VO3 videos with, you know, via Google or any of these other AI generated people or generated applications that access VO3. You too can do this. So the moment that VO3 became available to the masses, this is when we also became inundated with these types of videos, because it went from you being able to just create the video, but now they talk. The videos talk. Before you couldn't create the sound with it. video has now become a thing where like you can create the sound along with it. And so it's about you being able to properly prompt the AI to create not only just the image, but the verbal cadence and the vernacular of the characters whom this who this AI has virtually created.
Seems like that post was removed after they were called out for posting a clearly artificial video. A black woman eating fried chicken, black sin and all. And honestly, when I was scrolling, it almost got me. When I first watched it, I didn't realize it was fake or AI at all. Until she scarfed down the whole entire steaming chicken leg, bone and all.
You cut off your friend for missing your birthday dinner, but not the man who forgot your birthday?
But after that video, it seemed like the AI floodgates bursted open and my timeline was flooded with black AI influencer videos. And it's really scary and unsettling because of the implications of what can be done with videos like this, especially in the hands of anyone that has malicious intent against an individual or community in the very near future. But I'm Jew, welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
Wait, because like, why does everybody think I'm AI? That's so crazy.
Okay, so again, like I was saying, even when you create AI video, they have a hard time with fucking just printing words. So the captions here say, wait, because like White Dory thinks I'm AI, that's so like it doesn't spell it correctly. It doesn't spell it correctly. It has a hard time with the words. So even here, yeah, that looks like a very, it looks good VR wise, AI wise. However, the giveaway is a text. The giveaway is a text. They're having a hard right now. That's the giveaway. I'll say that they'll probably find a fix for that pretty soon. I'm more so worried. I'm of two minds when it comes to this AI shit, right? I'm of two minds of it. I understand because I grew up watching shit like Terminator and The Matrix and shit like that. They're like how the AI can become sentient and self-aware and things of that nature. And it can decide that at any point in time, humans are a threat to the world and they need to get rid of us at some point, right? And they need to replace us, and it will become so self-aware that depending on what we give it access to, do we give it access to the nuclear weapons? Do we give it access to, do we give it access to just our regular weapons? Like, how do we navigate that, right? But, in regards to that is one of those things where it's like, that's the what's the word that I'm looking for here? That is the science fiction depiction of how we've grown up to know about AI, but also at the same time, it's like, hey, I could either learn this shit or be left behind. Right? Try to figure out how to work these tools. Try to learn these tools. I've been of the mindset of trying to learn some of these tools. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm trying to learn some of these tools so that I don't get left behind tech-wise. I am deathly afraid of being left behind tech-wise where I don't know what the fuck is going on and I got to ask somebody, hey, how do I do this? I don't want my daughter to feel like she has to ask or she has to teach daddy how to use his new tricorder or whatever the fuck. I want to be the one telling her, baby, I got this Android tricorder. It's better than your iPhone tricorder. And right? I am that dude. I try to stay abreast of a lot of this shit. But again, even with this, it's like, yo, I am of two minds of it. I understand like these tools can be used for nefarious reasons. At the same time, I'm like, hey, I need to figure out how to use this shit to combat that exact same thing. And far too many of us take a step back and say, this is some bullshit. We shouldn't be doing this. Okay, but that barn has left the gate. That horse has left the barn already. Y'all, what you gonna do now? How are you going to combat that? If you don't know how to, you got to learn the tools, right? And so, yeah, man, one of the, like I said, one of the telltale signs now is, the shit can't spell. AI, for whatever the fuck reason, can't spell.
I genuinely don't know why everybody is saying that. I'm a human being just like you guys.
The fact that she's not real at all is still crazy to me. And people just scrolling through their phones or lacking critical thinking skills like the average person probably wouldn't pick up on the very small things that give away this video as AI. Like the hand glitch at the beginning or her tattoo changing throughout the video, which again makes this so scary. And on top of that, she's refusing to even admit that she's AI, which is super weird.
Hey Laquifa, looks like your baby daddy ended up at my crib again. You better buy a leash if you don't want him here no more because he's always running to me. Bye, boo.
AI videos like this are possible in the first place because we've been feeding the internet our data, faces, mannerisms, voices for over a decade now. We've had our phone.
Now, at this point, he's absolutely correct. And this is the point where I think far too many people don't necessarily recognize their contributions to the shit that they don't like, right? How many of y'all have seen on Facebook somebody they do like one of the little games where they submit their face and it's like 40 different versions of their face in AI or something like that, right? And it's always weird though, because like I've seen these pictures where like, this is me as a baby. And it's always like, especially when it comes to us black folks, man, they always Eurocentricize. I think I just made that word up. I think I just made that word up. I don't think that's a real word, but they always seem to Eurocentricize our features, where like now you done took this black lady and like kind of sanitized her in a white kind of white face and dulled her ethnic look to look more European, and then they post this shit like, oh my god, you look so pretty, like people in the comments, oh my god, you look so pretty, this is so dope, that sort of shit, right? How many of you have how many of us, right, as a podcaster, as a video podcaster at that, how often have we got on these microphones in front of these cameras and given, and all of this shit is happening on the internet. We've given our image, we've given our name, image, and likeness to certain things on the internet, and the AI is being trained on the videos and the thousands of hours of us speaking, the thousands of hours of us just being on video, where our mannerisms are being studied. Our facial expressions are being copied. Our vocal cadences are being duplicated to where someone can go on Google VO or any of the other fucking platforms that they have available and say, hey, make me a video of a podcaster in the style of a Mr. Spann talking about XYZ issue, but also make it comedic and 20 minutes worth of content. And then the AI spits that shit out because there's thousands or thousands of hours of me on the internet. It can go grab pictures of me off of my social media, my Instagram and everything. It can grab hours of me talking shit on this microphone in front of a camera and then get and spit some shit out. And you know, like, yo, damn, that's pretty convincing Spann right there. We are at that time now. We are at that time now. So, like, in regards to like AI influencers, I think it's more so an indictment on our just inability to be fucking tech savvy, our inability, or like our lack of media savvy to a large degree, that allows for someone to be fooled by some of this shit at this juncture. At this juncture. But there's going to come a time where we're not going to be able to tell. Where the AI not being able to spell in the captions is not going to be a dead giveaway. Where the tattoos moving are not going to be the dead giveaway. Where the amount of fingers on their hands are not going to be the dead giveaway. So, again, I think it's incumbent upon us to learn these tools so that we can combat bad actors. Because the bad actors ain't going to stop learning this shit. That's the other part about it. They're not going to stop learning this shit to their advantage to try to make money. That's what all of this shit boils down to. A lot of these why would anybody come up with an AI fucking influencer? They want to make money with the least amount of effort possible. So if you could put in the proper prompt and get AI to spit some shit out and then post that, and it goes viral, and it only took you 20 minutes to do that, and you done already earned $3,000 for that one fucking post, you think they're not going to be incentivized to do that shit more? That's what we're that's what we're confronting right now. All right. So yeah, man. Like I said, I've been talking for a while. It's been a while since the last time I hit the mic. And my apologies for not hitting the mic sooner. But hey, man, again, life getting in the way. But I appreciate you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys mostly, for listening and listening to me rant about a lot of shit. But more than anything, man, I just appreciate you guys for your continued support and your continued listening to shit, man. Real talk. But of course, before I get on up out of here, I do have to remind y'all how to get in touch with your man Spann here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit up to the hotline, area code 313-288-0485. This area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also hit me up on Bluesky. My name on there is mrspann.bsky.social. So go ahead, hit me up there and chop it up with your man Spann. Also, I'm on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, chop it up with your man Spann there throughout the week. Hit me up on YouTube with a like. Like the videos, man. But also subscribe to the channel on YouTube. We appreciate you guys for doing that. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, leave us a comment, and those comments will get right here live on the show when we're responded to as well, right? Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Spotify. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really do appreciate you guys for doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with your man Spann here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. And also, if you want to donate some money, we do have a Patreon. Go ahead, go. I think I need to leave the link on there. I don't know if I had the link on there. I had the link on tonight, but also go to our store. Our store is what you get something back with the store. That's probably the reason why I promote the store more. You get something back tangible for that. And so, yeah, man, the link to the store will be in our show notes. We really do appreciate you guys for contributing in that way. That does cost you a little bit of money, but you get something back. And so we appreciate you guys for supporting us in that way, man, real talk. But, yeah, man, I am about to get on up out of here. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam. Peace.